You're watching TVC Breakfast. Now, on the night of April 14, 2014, Boko Haram insurgents invaded the government girls' secondary school, Chibok, in Borno State, and abducted 276 girls, mostly aged between 16 and 18. 8 years after, many of them are still in Boko Haram captivity. Now, concerned citizens and civil society organizations are still appealing to relevant authorities to ensure the rescue of the remaining girls. TVC News' Jesse Tafida reports on this.
April 2014 remains an indelible date in the nation's history. It is the day more than 270 girls were abducted from government secondary school Chibok, Borno State, northeast Nigeria. 57 of the schoolgirls were said to have escaped almost immediately after the incident. The terror group Boko Haram claimed responsibility for the abduction in a video released by their then leader, Abubakar Shekau, on May 5, 2014.
Who are we? Who are we?
Early negotiation brought a spark of hope. The 200 remaining girls will be released quickly. But this was quickly dashed. All negotiation came to a standstill until 13th October 2016, when 21 out of the girls were released. The successful negotiations between the federal government and the militant group renewed hope that more of the girls will soon come out from captivity. Demands for the release of the remaining girls have been relentless since then, with little results.
The government should intensify its security.
The National Human Rights Commission and the Save the Children, the Ministry of Defense, working on safe school declaration to ensure protection of children in school are well protected, ensure from attack or anything attack that is coming.
Majority are also losing hope in the ability to get protected and even in pursuing of the educational career. So I want to use this opportunity to call on the government and relevant agencies to wake up to their own responsibilities to ensure that people's lives and property are protected.
The abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls remain fresh in the minds of Nigerians. Several other abductions have followed, like the 110 schoolgirls from Government Science and Technical College Dapchi in Yobe State, 300 Jangabe schoolgirls in Zamfara, and Kankara schoolboys in Niger. Concerned citizens are of the view that Nigerian authorities need to live up to their pledge of protecting the people and double up efforts to provide a safe learning environment for students in the country. Jesse Tafida, TVC News, Maiduguri.
All right, joining me via Zoom from the United Kingdom is the founder, CEO, IA Foundation, Ronke Adeapo. Ronke, it's good to have you join me this morning.
Good morning, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Great. Now, a day like this is a day of reflection. I recall about 8 years ago on a morning like this when the story came out that some girls have been kidnapped in Chibok. And that morning it was the issue of, did it happen? Did it not happen? Government denial, and then eventually, okay, there was confusion all over the place. But however, it actually happened. 8 years after, we're still talking about some of the girls who are not back. What has changed really from your analysis and perspective and your assessment of the situation?
Yeah, actually, my heart goes out to the parents of every child that is still in captivity, because it's not easy as a parent to live life knowing your child is somewhere out there and you don't know where they are. I mean, there's a Yoruba proverb that says that it's better for your child to be dead than for your child to just be missing. So my heart goes out to them, because every 8th of April is going to be a very difficult day for them. But I would reassure them to keep up hope. There's nothing impossible. One of these days, they will still see their children. Your question is, what has changed? I mean, it's difficult to see that anything has changed, because just yesterday, 5 girls were abducted in Zamfara College of Health sciences and technology. So that's 8 years down the line. Girls are still being picked up and abducted. These girls were not on campus. They were on an hostel which was out of campus. So if the bandits can actually go to their campus, their hostels to kidnap them and then start negotiating how much ransom they want, seems to me that hang on, are they commodities? Because initially they said they want 13 million and then they said they'll bring it down to 2 million. Are they commodities? All these girls want is education. And you'll expect that in a country like Nigeria, with a government, we expect that the welfare of the citizens and their property is the priority of the government. So if that hasn't changed, people don't feel secured, nothing has changed in my opinion. And I think the government needs to look inward to see how they can resolve this problem once and for all, because it's affecting the number of out-of-school children. These children are the future of Nigeria. So the government really needs to pull their socks up and find a pragmatic, lasting solution to this menace.
All right. We have seen not just the incident you mentioned, in addition, because the 5 girls you mentioned are part of the latest ones. Over the past year, there has been abduction of students from tertiary institutions, from secondary schools, even from homes, like you said, and all of that. We have been very concerned about the issue of girl-child enrollment in schools. What kind of impact will this continuous abduction of girls have on the enrollment of the girl child in schools generally?
Mike, it's not rocket science. If you are a father, I'm sure you're a father, you got a daughter, especially in the northern part of Nigeria, would you be really encouraged to send your daughter to school? I don't think so. So the same, most parents in the north do not want to send their girl child to school because of fear that they will be abducted. So therefore, if these girls are not in school, it begs the question, where are these girls? These girls are at home, just wasting away, not getting education. And these girls are meant to be the future of Nigeria. These girls are meant to be having children in future. So if they have no education, how can they impact knowledge on their children? There's a saying that when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. So if these women, the future of Nigeria, are not getting education, what does that tell you of the future of Nigerian children? So this is an issue which needs the attention of the government. Every parent has the right to send their kids to school to get education without fear. So this is something the government needs to prioritize and sort of address, because it's really, really an eyesore. Us still dealing with these issues 8 years after the Chibok incidents.
All right. Now, what kind of engagements? Because ultimately, it looks like government, who was supposed to provide security, couldn't provide that at the time, and what happened. Now, what kind of engagement should the government have with the parents of the Chibok girls and all of those who have whose children, one way or the other, have been kidnapped, as a way of saying, all right, we failed in protecting the children from being kidnapped, but this is what we are doing, and this is how we want to do it, as the case may be, as a way of creating some kind of succor for parents. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, without a doubt, I would like to imagine that the government of the day is quite sensitive to these parents, and they will be in communication with them. They don't have to do it openly, because we're talking about security issues here. So I want to believe that the government of the day is actually engaging these parents. But as a parent, if 8 years down the line, my daughter still hasn't been found, then I'm not going to take any comfort in whatever engagement in which the government is engaging. All the parent wants is their daughters back. 8 years down the line, these girls would not be, you may not even recognize them anymore, because I can assure you, Mike, most of these girls would have had children and they would have changed. So even if you see them, when the parents see them, they might not even recognize them any longer. So I think the government needs to engage in therapy for these parents, because it's really, really every parent's nightmare that your daughter is out there in the forest or with a man who has been sleeping with them. The thought of that alone can actually send any parent to an early grave. So they need therapy. The government needs to sort of provide maybe alternative accommodation for them, take them away from that environment, try and take care of them, pamper them, also reassure them that they are putting mechanisms in place to make sure this does not happen. Because some of these parents will have other children and they will be thinking, hang on, if my first or second child has been kidnapped, I'm not going to send my other children to school. So if the government wants these parents to continue sending their children to school, they need to demonstrate to the parents the mechanisms they've put in place to make sure kids are safe when they are in school.
All right, we have to leave it here now. Imagining that is really just a traumatizing situation. Ronke Adeagbo, thank you very much for talking to us on TVC Breakfast.